Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Formula Pod. And this is, in fact, our final episode for the year. So, today we're going to talk all about what's happening with Red Bull, all the drama over there. Checo Perez out, Lawson in. Why not? Why Sonoda didn't get it? We got to talk about it. Also, we will explore more on Valtteri Bottas making a return back with the Silver Arrows and expressing his regret with the Sauber project, and we also take a dive into the 2024 Formula One season in terms of the numbers. Most overtakes, least overtakes, total laps. We've got a full list of stats coming your way. And we'll be also talking about Fred Vasseur, talking about how Lewis and Charles will coexist within the Ferrari ecosystem. And we take our take on our favorite liveries for 2024 season. Who did the best? Who did the worst? We got to check that out. And last but not least, the rookies for 2025. As in a lot of them coming in. In fact, the most I would say. But we'll see how that goes, and we'll talk more about it on this episode of Formula Pod. And yes, joining me back, it's the three boys. There is no girl today, it's just the boys.
The
We've
boys.
got Nathan and here joining me. And I think after a very long time, we're doing all the full episode, all three of us from the same space in Dubai. Like, not the same space, in the same city. My bad.
Hopefully, we do an episode, together in one place as well. But yeah, happy to be here. It's the year end. The
It's in
season's
fact, we're
over.
recording on the second last day of the year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year, New Year, new
I just
season.
wanna wish every one of my listeners Happy New Year. I hope all your wishes come true, and I hope Lewis comes back to Mercedes. Anywho,
Thank God he didn't end up telling about our clothes.
oh, talking about their clothes. Um, Nathan's wearing a very particular T-shirt. I love it.
It's not a t shirt, man. Well, what do you mean?
Sure.
It's a
Oh, it's a
shirt,
shirt.
bro.
Sorry, my
It's a
bad.
shirt,
I'm
man.
legally blind. But yeah, he's wearing a checkered flat shirt, T-shirt,
Yep. Uh huh. Yeah. It's
and
also called a flannel, but, you know,
sorry,
we
what is it
go.
called?
It's called a flannel.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll go with the checkered flag. End of the year, the season's done.
Checkered flag, exactly.
Checkered flag. It's the
And
end.
Arjun's is just this walking red flag.
He's ready to support Lewis next year. That's how
Oh
we
my.
start Arjun.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like
I like it.
embracing the red.
I like it. It's good.
Uh, and yeah, let's hit it. First, we're talking all about Red Bull. Like, again, we did see this coming with Sergio Perez going out of the Red Bull Formula One ecosystem. Like, he will still be an ambassador driver, like how David Coulthard does. Basically, an ambassador driver basically does these sort of stunts or showcases with the Red Bull Formula One cars down in the public. So he will be still doing that. He's still connected to the Red Bull family, but not in the Formula One seat. So again, we were talking this nearly every other episode where Checo qualifies what do you call under P10. If he finishes the race somewhere else, and then you've got a Max Verstappen who was just like sitting in knocking the park, you know. And speaking about that, we basically have a soundbite from Christian Horner on why that partnership didn't end up working. So here it is.
I think that's the thing. I think that he's not really quite sure. Of course, the car it became more narrow in its performance window, and he struggled with that compared to Max. But obviously, such an enormous gulf in points difference between the two drivers. He was struggling with that, and that of course then puts more pressure on him. And the harder you try sometimes, the slower you go. And it became almost like a vicious circle for him. So there were flashes of old form in Azerbaijan, but unfortunately that didn't translate into points. So it's been a hugely frustrating campaign for him. And of course that's hurt us quite badly in the Constructors' Championship.
Okay, guys, so as you've heard what Christian Horner said, what do you guys think of what Christian Horner said about Checo Perez?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny. What's funny is I want to see in the next 6 or 7 months when Liam Lawson loses his seat, you could basically play the same soundbite and it would fit. I'm telling you that Red Bull second seat is cursed, and I don't know. It's just weird because I remember Christian coming out. I don't know which season, which race it was, but he came out in one of those weekends and he said we found something wrong with Sergio Perez's car and it was undetected for the last 2 years or something and we had to fix it and that's how we got his pace back. But I mean, ever since that race or that weekend, it's just been going downhill. And like Arjun mentioned before, this the partnership has just gone down the drain. I mean, 2021 was probably the only season, and maybe 2022 for that matter, were the only two seasons that Perez actually showed his worth for Red Bull in terms
I
of
would
him
even say
fighting for the championship.
2023. I would even say 2023 as in
Mm.
he was not as effective as Max, but then he still supported Max and still coveted for that P2 position on the Drivers' Championship.
But Arjun, let's be honest, that Red Bull was the fastest car throughout the whole season. So
Exactly.
if he didn't even get second in that championship
So
with
he
that
should have
car,
brought out 10 itself in the first place.
and it was funny because Charles was close in the end in 2023. He was close to beating Perez in the championship. So
No, it was not Charles, it was Lewis.
oh, was it Lewis? Oh yeah,
It
Lewis.
was
Okay.
Lewis.
It was Lewis. Yeah. So Lewis was really close to beating Perez in the 2023 championship, if I'm not wrong. The P2 position, I think, went to Brazil or Qatar or, the last race even. So, I mean, with a dominant car like that, you could already see the cracks forming with Perez and Red Bull. And then 2024 was kind of like the final straw. Seriously, I mean, it was it was just sad. The last few races with Perez, I mean, I wanted him to have like a good ending with Red Bull. I necessarily didn't want him to continue with Red Bull because I just feel like that seat is cursed. But what do you think, Mihir? What do you think about Perez's performance?
I feel bad for him. He's a great driver. He is really pushing himself in a situation where no one would like to be. And I think he realizes that Max is Max. No one can replace Max. But someone can help Max. And it's all about how his relationship is with Max. Now, there are multiple factors around Red Bull and Checo Perez that affects Red Bull, right? First of all, Red Bull, I'll start with Red Bull. Red Bull is a very Max dominated team. They see Max as their knight in armor, right? They know that the sun can rise on the other side, but Max will still be with Red Bull. With Checo Perez, I think it was more of an experiment where they wanted to see if he is capable, and he absolutely is. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like Red Bull was not the place he would like to be in. Look, when a driver goes from F3 to F2 to F1, it's absolutely luck, but it's also the skill set that you have learned or the person has learned. And Red Bull wouldn't have taken a chance with Checo Perez if he hadn't shown some type of proof. So I just feel like Red Bull is not, well, Checo Perez is not meant for Red Bull, but he can definitely win a few races in other teams.
Yeah.
And I'm going to agree with Nathan on this. It is never an easy job to race alongside a world champion because he is world champion. You're trying to be world champion because at the end of the day, you're racing for yourself, for your name, for your country. It's not for the team. Teams are secondary, right? I feel bad for him, honestly, but it is what it is, and I'm very happy that they have found someone to replace him. I think, um, yeah, I have nothing to say. I just feel bad for that guy. But again, new season, new drama. He might end up sometime soon. I don't know. What do you think, Mister? I wear a red shirt now because I'm a Lewis Ferrari fan.
Lol. See, what I personally feel was like, again, Perez should have been out long time ago.
Mm,
I kind of thought he would have done like a mid-season swap in the first place.
right.
But then extended it this long, thinking, oh, probably it may be lack of motivation.
Mm,
Extended the contract, but by the end of the year, retracted the contract. And for me, I again he actually supported Red Bull a lot financially
right.
because by sponsors, he brought in a lot of sponsors. In fact, he brought in so much sponsors that while he was leaving, they were actually trying and figuring out what is going to be the case of Red Bull Racing's finances, because Max Verstappen is on a big salary and a big paycheck. To be very honest, like
Right.
he doesn't come any cheap. He comes in at a huge price. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't. So at the end of the day, it's just like they need to do something very very very. I don't know how to say. They need to, from a team perspective, they really need to take a very strategic decision. Okay, like this guy is bringing all, what do you call, the like every sort of element financially, but at the same time, even though this may be a sport of business, this is also a sport where it's about winning.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you don't win and if you're just being like a waste of resource, it doesn't help at all.
And you know what? If there are any Red Bull fans listening to our podcast, we've talked about how Red Bull have really revolutionized, this era of Formula One with these new regulations, with Max Verstappen dominating. But with this situation, with Checo losing his drive and the finances of the team, uh, you know, it's not looking good, especially when Max Verstappen hadn't really won the championship with a dominating car, you can say, in 2024. It's just going to put even more pressure on Red Bull in 2025. And it is good for the other teams because it's just going to be more competition. But for Red Bull, as a Red Bull fan, it's going to be tough supporting Max because you never know if Red Bull don't deliver a car for Max Verstappen, then there are avenues for Max Verstappen out of Red Bull as well. And I won't be surprised if he either leaves Red Bull or, well, he has mentioned it before. He's having a son. He wants to leave the sport at some point, maybe in the next 5, 6 years. Maybe it could be really early if the car doesn't turn up as the fastest on the grid.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes, even with all these Red Bull drivers, the way how these people leave is very nasty. You know, literally, let's take for example Daniel Ricciardo. We all saw during Drive to Survive. This guy was so confused. He was like, "Okay, I don't know what's even happening with my future in Red Bull and stuff." And then after that, he moved to Renault. Then you got a Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly came. Performance was getting bad after a point, and then we got Alex Albon. The same story repeat. Then you've got Checo Perez coming in. He stayed a bit longer, agreed. He stayed where he had to stay for a bit of time. But that also comes to an end this way. Like, as you said, the second seed is a bit cursed. I'll not even say a bit cursed, it is cursed. But talking about the seed, like now we've got Liam Lawson. He has only raced 11 times in Formula One. In fact, the fastest second driver entry for Red Bull, or the fastest driver, because it took Max Verstappen 47 Formula One races to get his feet on Red Bull. 47.
That's mad.
That is crazy.
And again, Christian Horner does put in a lot of faith on this guy. Like seriously, a like massive faith, telling that okay, this guy is going to be the next Max Verstappen. But in
Yeah.
actual reality, every pretty much all new rookie drivers, they're like, oh, they're going to be the new Max Verstappen. You've got Kimi Antonelli coming in. You've got Gabriel Barretto coming in. You've got Oliver Behrman coming in. Literally, when Franco Colapinto joined and started showing performance, they're like, "Oh, this guy is going to be the next Max Verstappen." Like so much due Max Verstappen figures are coming up. It's just that everyone like, "Oh, everyone's going to be Max Verstappen." But I felt really bad when the announcement came saying that Liam Lawson is getting in instead of Yuki Tsunoda. The guy has been with the team for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
He's part of a junior team. He's raced, if I'm okay, let's say if we do the math right, 24 this year, last year 22, and then the season before that, I don't know. But anyways, 50 plus races or 75 plus races he has raced with the Red Bull family, and he is not considered, which actually pissed me off.
Yeah. I think
Like,
it pissed every Formula One fan off. I don't think it's just.
no, and literally, Twitter went by storm. Twitter were like, "You guys seriously can't take Yuki Tsunoda, and you're taking this guy? Like, dude, why?" And literally, you even have to see what Christian Horner said. You can't have a driver in the support team for 5 years. You can't always be the bridesmaid. You've got to let them go at that point or look at something different.
Yeah.
Like, I just clearly don't understand what's this guy up to.
It's weird because if you really have to understand what the issue is in terms of hiring these drivers, one should realize there are two axes of power in Red Bull. One is Christian Horner, and the other is Helmut Marko.
Ah, the
Now,
old guy.
yeah, the old guy. So, over this past year, we have seen both of them disagreeing with each other on certain points and on certain terms. So, I don't know if that is the reason why this whole drama has just basically blown up and Lawson's just fast tracked into a Red Bull seat. Don't know if that's the reason. Um, but then again, it's really hard to judge Liam Lawson. I'll just give him that benefit of a doubt. I mean, we will talk about his 2024 performance, but to be fair, he hasn't had a full Formula One season.
Exactly.
In 2023, he came in for
For three
Daniel
races.
Ricciardo, yeah, just for a few races, and in 2024 he came again in place of Daniel Ricciardo because Ricciardo lost his seat. So
It's
he
kind of
hasn't really.
it's kind of like this guy is basically just waiting for Daniel Ricciardo to do something wrong, so that he just Daniel Ricciardo just gets kicked out, and then you've got this Kiwi just joining and doing his thing. So, like, yeah, talking about Sonoda again, if you're looking by numbers, Sonoda outqualified Lawson nearly every single race for this since he joined the WeCarb. The WeCarb, yeah, the WeCarb, whatever. And it's no more even going to be called WeCarb in the first place. It's just going to be called Racing Bulls from now on.
Which I think is better than V Carb, to be fair.
I feel like I'm doing like some sort of a diet when I say V carb. Like how
Mm,
you've got like keto, paleo, and all this. You're like V carb.
I think it was, again, it's all an experiment, right? Marketing
Mhm.
is all about having a strategy. It's like a Formula One car, you try to
Mhm.
predict something, you set it up. AI and human intelligence is something that you can only test things out once
Mhm.
you actually play that process. And I think there wasn't any good feedback, even though AI would have said, oh, the predictions are extremely good, extremely high, all positive, but it's never 100%. And this is where there were a lot of feedback issues where they were like, what kind of name is that? A Formula One car name should be something that's quick, easy. Red Bull, done. Steak, done. And then there's V carb, Formula One Red Bull. Now that's too long, bro. We still get confused about the
mm,
name. Yeah, Nathan, what do you
mhm.
think? Should well, Red Bull is changing their car name. What is the new car name called?
It's called Racing Bulls.
That's better than what they had before.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the other name was, I mean, their official name was Visa Cash App RB
RB.
F1 team. So if they are removing their title sponsors of their name, I mean, then great. Then
No,
there are
I
no
don't know
title
if it's
sponsors.
even the case where they have lost the sponsorship
I don't think they've lost it. I don't think so.
because Daniel Ricciardo was a huge marketing tool at the end of the day
Yeah.
because he holds like insane market value at the end of the day. But uh, speaking about just the team, like now instead of Liam Lawson, we'll have Isaac Hadjar, the Frenchman, now joining team. He'll be the third Frenchman on the grid for 2025. And that'll officially make Red Bull, like the RB team, the Racing Bulls team, be the shortest duo on the grid
In
because
terms of height.
Isaac Hadjar is only 154 centimeters.
How tall is Sonora?
I think that's something I need to research.
Because 154 is short. That is a short guy. But short people are, I think more successful in Formula One, are they? In terms
Yeah,
of
so
like
Yuki
height
Tsunoda is
weight ratio.
161 centimeters.
Oh, so Isaac Hadjar is even tinier. Because,
167. Sorry, 167. 161 and 167.
okay, because 154 is crazy.
Yeah, it's 161 and 167. And Haas will have the tallest lineup between Esteban Ocon and Oliver Behrman.
Oh, yeah, there are some tall boys. Yeah, those are tall people.
So we got to see.
That's interesting.
I feel like being a short person for Formula One, like I definitely know height doesn't matter, but weight does.
Mhm.
Yeah, no. So I don't think height really. Yuki, you can be 5'2" if you want to. Yuki can be 6'1", but the way he speaks on the radio, no one can, and we all agree
Hmm.
with that.
That's true. That is very true. But you know what? I actually do feel bad for Sonoda. I think we all do, don't we? Because that guy, I mean, he literally came out in the media and he said, it's
It's
fine.
going to be awkward.
It is going to be awkward, but he's just going to eat his teammates for breakfast. That's what he said. I don't know if that's what he said, but he basically just said that. He's just going to beat his teammates every time. Daniel Ricciardo came in, he beat him. Yeah, Liam Lawson came, he beat him as well. So I have to just wish Isaac Hajar all the best because if he can at least, if he can hold his power and strength to Yuki Tsunoda on the track, then okay, Isaac Hajar is a talent to be scouted to be nurtured for Red Bull. Could be a future Red Bull driver. Who knows? That Red Bull program is a waste. That's all I'm going to say.
That Red Bull program has now got 7 drivers on the grid next year. So if you look at it, you've got Max Verstappen, Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, Isaac Hadjar, Jack Doohan, Carlos Sainz, and who? Alex Albon. 7 drivers.
And Pierre Gasly.
And Pierre Gasly, 8 drivers, in fact. So that's basically what you call. I don't know what's the exact fraction to it. Like Nathan is our math guy over here, so I don't know the exact math to it. But a good portion of the Formula One grid is has basically got trained by Red Bull at least one season.
40%.
Exactly, 40%. And then the rest one again, I don't know what's the case with Mercedes Academy. That's a different story of its own.
But I feel like I think what Red Bull is doing is good because because again, experimenting is the only way you can actually see results. And I think what they're doing is it's quite aggressive. Don't get me wrong; it puts a lot of mental pressure on the driver, on the team. Red Bull has to customize their seats, their steering style, the driving style according to each driver. But I guess that's the same thing they did with Max, and well, they found his good luck with the Red Bull team. And I think they're trying to find the next Max for Red Bull, but it's very difficult because no one can copy Max. No one can copy Lewis. No one can copy Lewis. I was going to say Michael Jackson. Um, Michael Schumacher. So I mean, you know what? Red Bull. I support Red Bull doing this. I think it's a bit aggressive, but at the end of the day, what Arjun said, it's business.
All right, all right. You know what? As you were talking about how Red Bull chose Max and took that leap of faith, I want to jump to another team, which is Mercedes. So Mercedes also we got news. So we got to know earlier last week that Mick Schumacher is leaving the Mercedes family and he's going to focus full time on the Alpine Endurance program. And who comes back? Our mullet man, Valtteri Bottas. Again, it was he did this big sort of surprise reveal being, oh, what's next, what's next. His what's next was basically, at least through the color codes, we should have assumed that was a way to Mercedes. And in fact, it is a good thing because I feel like now Valtteri can be in the grid, but again, not on track, but off track, doing testing and all those, and probably say he can keep himself available for that seat for Cadillac, which activates by 2026.
I have a question for both of you. Do you think he would get that seat?
I think he would.
Same here.
I
Hmm.
absolutely think he would.
Because, see, even though he raced with Lewis for nearly 5 years, if I'm not wrong, he has produced some stellar laps. And he's also like, I think after leaving Mercedes, he has marketed himself really well. So compared to all your finished drivers, Valtteri is not that finished driver. Like, we know our, what do you call, Kimi Raikkonen, even though he is the most simplest man, but he's got some insane, what do you call, insane moments which are laugh worthy. Like this guy has taken a step further. He's just like, okay, I feel like now I've stepped out of the shell. Let me do what I can do. And he did it. So I pretty much, and again, he drove in a Mercedes powertrain. He's driven on a Ferrari powertrain. He knows the system. And Valtteri Bottas, like again, during that Abu Dhabi qualifying itself, we saw how he was putting out laps with that green dustbin.
Yeah. But it's
So
just unfortunate that the last race he had to DNF. But yeah, what a
again, I
driver.
think for Sauber, that's kind of like a given thing with their Finnish drivers because Kimi Raikkonen's last race with Sauber, he actually DNF'd. He didn't finish the race.
Yeah, which was sad. because that
So it's
was
the same
Kimi's
thing with
last
Valtteri
race.
Bottas. I feel like
Yeah.
there's a trend coming over here. Any Finnish driver who's retiring from the team, guess what? You're not finishing the race.
You know what, guys? I feel like if you're talking about Finnish drivers and you're talking about countries and nationalities, like we've been talking about how Brazil was one of those countries that, produced a lot of Formula One talent back in the decades. And the last Brazilian driver that we had on the grid was Felipe Massa. And now we have Gabriel Bortoleto coming in for
Hmm.
next season. I feel like Finland is now going to be another country where we're going to miss now on the Formula One grid. Because Valtteri is now obviously
A
he's not
reserve
racing
driver.
next year. Yeah. So I hope sometime in the future we get maybe Kimi's son at some point
Again,
on
he's also
the
kind
grid.
of progressing quite quickly, to be very honest. Like in
Yeah.
his starting days.
Robin, I think is his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need Finnish drivers, and Valtteri for a Finnish driver, I think he's done a bit more than what a normal Finnish driver would do
Exactly.
on the grid. So he is the type of personality, like a Daniel Ricciardo that I think we will miss on the grid. But I think it's a really good decision for Mercedes to get him as a development driver because, I mean,
Because
you
he knows the ecosystem really well. He's
exactly.
lived through it. Now at least he know he's not gonna have to listen to those awkward radio moments from James Wall saying, "Hi Valtteri, it's James."
Do you think? Look, there's all chances for
Hmm.
Valtteri to do a race weekend. I mean, look, we've had incidents with appendicitis and with appendectomies and all of that. If George has to remove his appendix or Kimi Antonelli has to remove his appendix,
Too
we
early
could
for
see
Kimi
Valtteri.
Antonelli. Let's focus on George for the time being.
We could see Valtteri in a Mercedes seat again. I mean, you
We
never
may
know.
not know.
Yeah.
If stars align for him, he will get a chance to sit on the silver arrow. In fact, I'm really curious what is next year's car going to be looking like in the first place, you know? But again, I want to get Mihir's take on this though. Kind of what do you call is living and breathing Mercedes for the past couple of years. What is your feeling like with Bottas reuniting with the Mercedes family?
I think it's a good idea. I think it's always good to have previous drivers who were a part of the Mercedes team, only because they know how a Mercedes works. And if you exclude the part of experience, I think Valtteri is a phenomenal driver. His skill sets, the way he is. When Lewis and Valtteri were racing partners, Lewis used to be the cocaine, and he used to be the mediator. Lewis was aggressive, right? And
He used to
you
be the
know,
what?
the cocaine, the I'm gonna go aggressive.
Okay, I thought I
No.
heard it wrong and you said cocaine. That caught me off
And
guard, man.
yeah, so it's good to have two different characters drive for the same team. Imagine both being aggressive. You're done. You're gonna crash your car somehow.
Well, you have if you want aggressive drivers, that's Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri.
Yeah,
That's a fire in the first place.
mm,
But at the same time, like again, if you're like I also want to reflect his time, Valtteri Bottas' time at Sauber though. So his first year again, I will say really decent. He again, Fred Vasseur was the team principal back then. He did direct that team to some points, to basically right now going to no points, and just and finally from Qatar they took some points, like 4 points, and that's it. They couldn't do much. So it is a bit of a like Valtteri Bottas himself said it is a regret because he thought he was going to be given that Audi seat, but he ended up not getting them. But again, this is Formula One at the end of the day. Driver market is like what do you call like a real estate market at the end of the day. It just things turn around left, right, center like quickly. Like one Lewis Hamilton change to Ferrari saw like the full grid sitting in switching at least one driver. I think McLaren would be the only team without a driver change because you look Ferrari has got, Mercedes has got, Red Bull has got, Alpine has got, who we say Williams has got, Kick Sauber has got. Who are the other teams? Oh shit, I forget.
Haas.
Haas has
Haas.
got,
V
and
carb for
VCAB has
racing
got.
bulls.
So pretty much every other team has got a change except for McLaren.
And Aston Martin. Yeah.
Oh yes. Talking about Aston Martin, I don't know if you guys have been seeing Fernando Alonso giving hints of retiring.
Oh.
He is just told that if the car is still not improving, I might as well retire.
Wow.
Where have you heard this?
I think on it's on one of the credible Formula One news platforms. I forgot what's the exact name. But again, he is told he's going to race as if it's going to be his last race every time, give his fullest. But at the same time, if he actually did start hinting about his retirement, because again, he is the oldest driver in the grid, about 43 if I'm not wrong,
Yep.
and again, like he's basically feeling like okay, the what do you call his time with Formula One is not that far in terms of the end,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the closure. Like again, I
Well,
who was the last
yeah.
time what a driver who was 50 plus years old? I think that was in the black and white times when Formula One had a 50-year-old driver. I think who
Yeah.
it was.
I'm not too sure, but it's very hard to, to race in these
I
cars.
think and you know what? With this all like, I think Formula One over the years have become more technical. So it's all about reaction time, and people talk about age and carbon fiber. Back then it was just steel, and like good V10 engines. They don't care about the environment or the turtles or whatever is going on, which is very crucial, and Formula Power understands it's very very crucial. But back in the olden era, they used to not think about all of this. All they think about is how to get P1. That's all they want at that time.
Hmm.
Yeah. But Alonso dropping these hints, I mean, I don't know if that's a surprise really, because I mean, you think of the 2023 season, Aston Martin had such a really good car, and Fernando Alonso was in his element really, and 2024 was a completely different picture for Aston Martin. So Fernando Alonso putting pressure on a team is not breaking news. I mean, he's literally called every engine GP2 engine or slow car, or he said if you put a rocket ship, there's no point in racing. I mean, he's done it before, so this is not new. But you know what, this could be good news for a certain Japanese driver that we were talking about, Yuki Tsunoda, because Honda is now going to partner up with Aston Martin, and if Fernando Alonso vacates his seat, Tsunoda has to leave the Red Bull family and go for that Aston Martin seat
And then
without any doubt.
I don't see Red Bull probably what renewing contract for Sonoda
Yeah, I don't think so either.
because he's
Yeah,
just given a 1 year rolling contract.
yeah.
So yeah, but then like I did some research. As per my research, Louis Chiron was the oldest Formula One driver. He raced when he was 55 years and 592 days old, and his last race was in Monaco, 1955.
That's old.
That's
But yeah,
very
that's
old.
that's old. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
55. That's basically like my dad's age.
Oh,
Dude, that's 55.
My dad's 55.
imagine someone's dad driving in Formula One. That'd be cool. I mean, to be
Yeah,
fair, to be fair,
that's really
it's
cool, right?
yeah.
But anyways, coming back, we're going to now switch gears to a bit about Formula One 2024 summarized in numbers. So most and least overtakes. Okay, we're
Can we
talking
guess?
about
Can we guess them? I
go
think
for
we
it.
can guess them. Mihir, do you want to go? Guess who's had the most overtakes this season? Go for it.
That's easy, bro.
All right.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Bro, you're right.
uh, oh, no way.
Yeah, it's Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm not
Uh,
surprised actually.
I don't know if he's joking or not. Stop playing with my feelings, guys.
No, so Lewis Hamilton has done 54 overtakes this season.
Mad. I love Lewis. He's so cute. Okay, yeah, he's also talented.
This guy just went out like all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell?
Let's not
That's,
forget this guy just said Lewis and he just cut him. Like, he just cut himself and he said, sorry, sorry, no, no.
I was, I
What kind
was,
of Lewis fan are you, man?
no, no, man. I love Lewis, but I'm also being realistic.
Ah, I see. Okay.
No, but let's say if Lewis wasn't the person, I would say Carlos.
Yeah.
Mm, wait, I'm going to check my data. My data is not loading up.
But yeah, Lewis Hamilton being, the driver with the most overtakes kind of does make sense. I mean, you look at the car, Mercedes have not been the quickest car throughout the whole grid, and he has, made up a lot of positions in each race because of where he is qualified in that car. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I thought it would be Leclerc just purely because of the last race, because he just managed to pass literally, I don't know, probably 17 cars on the road. in
It's
the
been
final
one.
race.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but
Like,
yeah, hats off to Lewis. I mean,
What about
amazing.
least? What about least? Let's talk about least.
Ooh,
like for a second, I was like, oh shit, like one data showed Lance Stroll, and I'm like, seriously, this guy? No, but again, that was some years ago when Aston Martin was a pink color car.
Oh my
oh,
god, I
his
know those good old
P2
days.
series, if you remember.
least. Hmm. Well, it's got to be one of the newer drivers, right? I mean, it's got to be one of those drivers who joined in the middle of the season because they haven't had a lot of races. It's probably Jack Doohan because he just raced in Abu Dhabi.
Yes,
Yeah, could be
right.
actually.
Yeah.
Again,
Um.
it is Jack Doohan. It hasn't, like, again, I don't know, one race, and
Yeah.
I don't know where he finished. He finished what, P15, P16?
Yeah. Probably. I mean, Gasly finished in the points. I know that, but Doohan was literally nowhere. I mean, I think he was just basically getting ready for the tire testing for the
Rally
next.
Yeah,
time.
poor guy was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I wasn't ready to race. I just came here to do like some tire test of the best, nothing more than that. But you guys end up making me go and race.
Yeah.
Because this is what you know. What this reminds me of the saying: you should never leave any stone unturned. You
Okay.
don't. You'd never know what kind of chances you have out there. To be honest, I mean, he just went for the tire testing. Now look at him. He's driving for Formula One. That's mad. Arjun, we should. I think Arjun, we should just go to Abu Dhabi one day and just be like, just walking, just looking at merchandise. Lewis just taps on his shoulder. You have some good shoulders. That's great to be
Yeah.
a Formula One driver. Boom. Next
Bro,
thing I
trust
know,
me,
I'm representing
if I
India.
ever have to do that, I need to first, what do you call, work a lot on my physique in the first place. Do some of those neck training, you know?
Bro, we're Indians, man. All we do is rotate our necks here and there. Very good, very good. You know.
Good one, bro. That's a good one. That's a good one. Anyway,
Honestly,
coming back. Any guesses for the Destructors Championship? Which team has topped it, and which is the driver?
It's got to be Williams.
Williams of
Oh,
the team, agreed. Okay,
yeah.
which the driver? Who's the driver?
Oh, it's not a Williams driver.
It's not a Williams driver.
oh, snappers.
Mihir, Mihir, do you want to go for it?
Ooh, I would love to. Okay, let's see. I'm feeling a little bit of Checo Perez, but I know it's wrong, so I'm not gonna say it.
I was going to say Perez too.
You're right.
Uh, oh, what? No way! I should have asked for $1 million. What?
So it's Williams which has taken the most amount of damage this year, which has costed them about $11.1 million. Okay.
Wow.
Red Bull comes in second with $5.77 million. Ferrari comes in the third position with $4.31 million of damage.
We're on the podium,
Mercedes,
baby.
Mercedes comes up on the fourth with $3.87 million. Aston Martin with 3.85. Your Visa Cash App RB with 3.51. Haas 2.19. Stake F1 1.79. Alpine 1.63. And McLaren with just $997,000.
Mad.
That is actually crazy.
And by
Mm,
drivers, if you're looking by drivers, Checo Perez with $4.86 million of damage, followed by Alexander Albon, 4.66, Franco Colapinto, 3.44, George Russell, 3.33, Carlos Sainz, 3.10, Logan Sargent, 3.01, Yuki Tsunoda, 2.16, Fernando Alonso, 1.96, Lance Stroll, 1.89, and Esteban Ocon, 1.
You know, that is,
Can we have these stats on our socials as well,
Yeah,
so the listeners, yeah.
that is very crazy that Franco Colapinto, who's only raced after, the
second half
Italian
of the
Grand Prix.
season,
Yeah, he's third on
lot
that
of
list.
this.
Yeah, and has got more damage. He's got a bigger damage bill than Logan Sargent. But
Hey,
that's crazy.
Logan Sargent, you should consider for 2 seasons, bro.
That is true. That
Like
is true.
last year, he topped the overall Destructors Championship. $4.33 million was his contribution to that fund.
Yeah.
Mm, that's also a good point.
Versus
Yeah.
then you look, because if you're looking by since 2020, 2021, and 2022, it was by a Haas driver. 2020 by Romain Grosjean with 5.41. Mick Schumacher 2021 with 4.95. Mick Schumacher again in 2022 with 3.95. Then you've got Logan Sargent with 4.33. And 2024 is Sergio Perez 4.81.
It's increasing, isn't it? The more races we have, the
I feel like the last big ticket was with Roman Grosjean with 5.41 million.
No, no, that's because of his. Again, guys,
The
come
Abu
on.
Dhabi, sorry, the Bahrain fire incident.
Yeah, that was big. I wouldn't even
that
consider
was
as that
huge.
as
Yeah.
an expense. I think it was. I think that's one time where I was like, thank God. Like those kind of crashes, I don't see like evaluation of crashes.
Hmm.
I'm just glad this guy is safe. That that
Yeah,
that fire was huge. They should have not continued that race, by the way.
but they red flagged it, and then they later on did continue them, right?
Yeah, but again, like it's a bit too like I know. I just felt it weird because he could have like passed away, guys. Like that fire was no joke. He had second degree burns on his hands.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but luckily nothing else. And that's just unbelievable. I mean, he went through a
Yeah.
barrier. He literally went through a barrier. And that is insane. With the halo, with the way the car is basically
How
built. I mean,
Nathan?
it's
Do you wanna explain to our listeners well, Nathan, do you know the procedure about how Formula One cars dismantle if there's a crash?
I actually don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually
So
don't.
basically, when a Formula One car crashes into a barrier, Formula One cars are divided into two parts. So the fuel tank and the engine dismantle. So the driver has a safer way of escaping and it won't cause any fire. But in this instance, because it was head on head, I don't think that worked out. Now, I may be wrong, but from my research, this is what it is.
Mhm.
And I think that's a great way to prevent anything further. Because I know, so they tried to do that with cars, but then it was a health hazard, and basically what happened was they couldn't design the same thing in like commercial cars. It's too technical. There are too many testings they have to do. But Formula One cars, they can do testings because obviously the cars drive on these certain tracks. I guess. Again, I have to do more research on this. But let me know, guys, to our listeners, if you do want to hear about it more, I can do research about it and let you know about the next episode next year.
Yeah, and coming back on to the final data from my side, which is the total like second last is the total laps led. There is no surprise, it's Oscar Piastri,
Oh my god.
no DNFs, and I think
Wow.
the last time it was just Max Verstappen who did the same, and then
Hmm.
the year before that, like then in 2019 it was Lewis Hamilton
Okay.
who laps led, and then we had it was a Haas car of I think Roman Grosjean itself.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wait,
and
so
biggest gains.
we're talking about laps led in Formula One.
Sorry, not Sorry, my bad. I was talking about laps finished.
Okay, that's why.
Laps
Okay,
finished.
well,
Okay.
that's why
Okay.
I said I was like, okay, Arjun, that's a new stat.
Yeah, like laps finished. Okay, that makes sense. Oscar Piastri with no DNFs. Yeah, that does make sense. But
If you're
Oscar
looking at laps
Piastri,
led, of course you've got Max Verstappen, of course,
yeah, not necessarily. I mean,
undisputed.
yeah, well, it could be Norris too, because
No,
I mean,
Norris is in second.
Norris is second.
Norris is second. It's again, I don't have the exact numbers with me, but it's Max, Norris, Leclerc, and what do you call it's and Russell, because Russell for good for again races like Las Vegas, the guy actually went nearly the entire race leading the race, and then you have like Silverstone, you had Belgium, like
Yeah, true.
when you look like that, like again, Russell definitely was on the top spot. And yes, finally the biggest gains, Max Verstappen again, Brazil, P17 to P1. Then you've got Charles Leclerc, P19 to P3 in Abu Dhabi. Then you've got George Russell from P20 to P6, Hamilton from P16 to P4 in Abu Dhabi, Norris from P15 to P4 in Azerbaijan, and Pierre Gasly from P13 to P3
In Brazil.
Brazil. Yes.
Yeah,
There's no other way Pierre Gasly is finishing P3 other than Brazil.
that is true. But what a wonderful season. Like, if let's actually deep it, guys.
Mhm.
I do. Will we ever get a season like this ever again?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
Again, to
think?
be very honest, next year I'm pumped because finally, like by next year, I'm pretty sure mostly nearly every Formula One team will crack the code in terms of their car because before it was just Red Bull. Now we've got
Yeah.
McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes. Again, I don't know what's the case. Mercedes, Aston Martin, thanks to Adrian Newey, will they bring a car? God knows. Which is worthy enough for Lawrence Stroll's investment, you know? So we may not know that.
I can't wait. I can't wait for
I seriously
2025.
can't wait. And in
Yeah.
fact, next year is basically the year of rookies. 5 rookies joining on the grid. Like you have
Mm.
Gabriel Bortoleto joining from the McLaren Academy. You've got Kimi Andrea Antonelli from Mercedes, Oliver Behrman from Ferrari, Isaac Hadjar from the Red Bull family, Jack Doohan from the Alpine Academy. Like it's 5 different powerhouses of Formula One actually bringing in their set of drivers. In which again, I
Mhm.
think only Gabriel Bortoleto is not racing with McLaren, just doing it with Stake F1. But we will see. He's the F2 champion, so there is some insane amount of rookie performance we have to see next year. Like
Yeah.
again, Nathan, you follow Formula 2 quite closely, right?
Yep.
How do you feel with these 5 drivers getting promoted to their what do you call their destination of Formula 1?
Well, it's insane. I'm really happy for Gabriel Bortoleto. P1 in Formula 3 and then P1 in Formula 2 last season. I'm happy that he has gotten a seat. And well, these bunch of drivers, I mean, truly, they're just talented, super talented. If you talk about Isaac Hadjar as well, I mean, he was leading the championship for some time, even. So, to have him on the grid is absolutely brilliant. And you talk about all of these drivers, especially Oliver Behrman. I mean, you don't have to look at his F2 results, just look at his F1 results. He's raced in 2 races last year, and both those races were amazing. In Saudi Arabia, literally one of the toughest street races that you can ever, race on. He finished in the points with a Ferrari. He also finished in the points in another street race in Baku with a Haas against Hulkenberg, who is, let's say, I mean, he's been one of the leaders for Haas, but
Mhm.
to do that with literally little to no experience in a Formula One car. Granted that he has had free practice experiences before, but to do it in a full race weekend, it's insane. And Kimi Antonelli, with the way how Toto Wolff has, has literally glazed about Kimi, I cannot wait to see what
Well,
he has in
I
store.
feel like that guy is a bit like how Christian Horner hyped about Max,
Yeah,
saying that he
yeah,
is the future of Formula One.
yeah, yeah. And he's only 19, if
He's
I'm not
only
wrong.
18.
He's 18. Okay, that is insane.
Like
That is
Nathan,
insane.
I'm assuming you're 22, right?
I'm
But
21, man.
you're
I'm old.
21. What are you doing? You're sitting in your bedroom. You're connected to a computer. You're sitting and talking about the race, and you've got 18-year-olds sitting and driving Formula One cars for one of the top teams.
I always get that question, man. Even my parents do that to me. So let's not do that, please.
No, I think it's every no, no, it's every parents, and he just look. It's every kid's dream to drive a Formula One car. It's pretty expensive, man. Not everyone can do it.
That is true.
Yeah, exactly. It's like how people say like if you want to learn how to fly, you it's very costly. But
Yeah,
then once you get that pilot's license, you end up earning a lot more, and probably you may recoup it, say in about in 2 to 3 years, whatever you
yeah,
spent on your flying school.
yeah.
That's, okay, that's
It,
interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's an expensive venture, but the
exactly.
returns you get out of it is insane. I mean, we've talked about these 4 drivers. I mean, they were part of the Formula 2 grid this
Mhm,
season, the last season. But Jack Doohan, by the way, is a very interesting character because he was not there in F2 this season.
mhm.
He was in F2 the previous seasons.
Previous season.
And the name Doohan, if you followed motorsport and if you're a fan of motorsport, not just four-wheelers, but two-wheelers especially, Jack Doohan's father was a motorcycle driving champion, basically. And that's how
MotoGP champion.
a MotoGP champion. I don't know if it was called MotoGP before or if it was some other
It
name,
was called MotoGP.
but yeah, but the Doohan family name is very, very popular, not just in Australia, around the world in the motorcycle,
Yes.
era. So Jack Doohan has that history behind him. So he's got like that Schumacher esque family history, but obviously it's in a different sport, but it's still racing. But these talents coming into Formula One, I seriously can't wait to see them on the grid racing against each other. I mean, who knows how the cars are going to be, how fast they are going to be, but I hope that they're given the chance,
Mm.
unlike some other academies that just bin off their
Produce
drivers.
and just be like, you know what, wait over there.
Which I feel really bad for IYKYK because he's in that position. But I mean, in a way, we also have to kind of categorize Liam Lawson as well. But I know he has had a few races in his belt, but he's not had a full Formula One season two. But all these drivers coming in, I mean, they've done their best in the junior Formula ranks, and
Yeah.
they've made it to Formula One, and that itself is there's a lot of luck. That's true, but there's a lot of skill as well involved, and it's great. It's great to see new talent in Formula One, and I'm a big advocate for all these new talents coming in because, well, the old guys, yeah, I mean, they've won their races, they have won championships, but this day and age, we're moving forward, and
Yeah.
you know, we need new talent in, and I can't
You
wait for
know,
the season, man.
just to add to that, with Jack Doohan, for example, he's not having a full contract.
Yeah, he's not.
He
And
got a
that's I was
like
gonna bring up that.
half-season contract with him.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's a bummer.
Like, and if he doesn't perform, Franco Colapinto may come back to the grid.
But
Yeah,
that's if no, Arjun, that's if he but
yeah,
he seems quite promising. He might get an
yeah,
extension.
He might
yeah.
again, but again, we have got Flavio Bertore on the executive director. That
Mm-hmm.
guy is cutthroat when it comes
He
to
is.
decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He is. If he had the
So
chance, he would sign Alonso. Like right now, he's
exactly.
that type of guy. but I think the kid will do well. I know I'm calling him kid. I'm probably his age, but like this is funny. But I think Jack is going to do a good job. I really wish him the best.
No,
All
he
right, all right. And like, yeah, before we wrap up, I want to also shed some light onto Ferrari. We've got next year amazing and a very interesting pair, which is basically Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. Should I just got program stop programming for a second, Paul.
Brother, what?
I just gave a pause. I was like, who twist? Okay, but basically, like, Fred Vasseur was asked how Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton will coexist within the Ferrari household. So let's listen and what he has to say.
Yeah, I prefer to fight for 1-2 than for 19-20, okay? This is clear. And I think it's also part of the performance. It's that clearly, the last 2 years I let them race on track and it was for the benefits of the team because that the emulation that we created like this was part of the recovery when we had tough times and they had huge respect between them and we had a good moment this morning with the farewell of Carlos and it was very nice.
Yeah, so this particular interview is done on the day when Carlos Sainz's final day with Ferrari. He was gifted an F175 model Formula One car, which he had his very first win with. And he said it is all about performance. And he specifically also said it is better to be fighting for 1-2 than 19 and 20. And again, let's say I want to understand, like, from Nathan's perspective. Being a Ferrari fan all these years, you're now seeing a Frenchman on the helms of a Formula One or of the Ferrari team. He is ticking the right boxes, getting
Yeah,
all the resources. He, like, again, the fight was taken all the way till Abu Dhabi this time. Do you
yeah.
see that trajectory continuing further?
Well, there are signs, and it's promising. What you know, there are obviously going to be a lot of not Formula One fans, of Ferrari fans that are going to be disappointed in the departure of Carlos Sainz.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, he's been one of the most important elements into why the team is grown into such a very powerful
Mm-hmm.
team these past few years, even
Yeah.
with Fred as well. So for Fred to come out and say it's all about performance, obviously with a seven-time world champion in Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, who's sort of proved himself many multiple occasions in last even in the last season and the previous seasons as well. It's very promising.
Okay.
I can just say that, and
Okay.
I'm really happy to be a Ferrari fan right now because every single year, and I've watched Ferrari thoroughly as a true fan from 2018 onwards.
Okay.
The season trajectory always falls after the summer break
Okay.
in every single season, and it's just been disheartening. And then the press and the media and the journals, they all come out for the testing next season saying Ferrari have produced a really fast car and they top preseason testing, and then they win the first couple of races and then boom, that's it, done. It's like
So,
that's their job.
so are you pretty much saying that media is sitting and jinxing? Oh, finally, when the car does well, and then like media like, oh, you know what? You've got a blazing white, red Scarlet Ferrari just zooming through. Are you feeling like that jinxing to a certain extent is just what do you call is just messing up with their performance?
Well, I mean, if you want to think about it that way, yeah, sure. I don't really believe in this jinxes. I mean, if you really want to look at Ferrari's performances, you just have to look at how the team has performed over these past few years. I mean,
Okay.
with Matteo Binotto at the as the team principal, it was a joke. Uh, Seriously, it was a joke. I
Okay.
mean, there is no other way to say it. And with with Fred Vasseur, we've had a French team principal before in John Todd, and you know what happened there. I don't want to say anything much. I don't want to say anything else because I it's just gonna be, if this is gonna be clipped, I'm just gonna remember this moment and I'm just gonna think about, oh man, I shouldn't have said it. But in all honesty, I'm just happy where Ferrari is right now. Lewis Hamilton is obviously proved himself. We don't really have to talk about him. He's a seven-time world champion. Charles Leclerc as well. So when Fred says that we want to be finishing 1-2 and not 19-20, it's brilliant. And I can't wait to see the car that they have built for both these drivers. And I don't know if there are going to be any sort of team orders because Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc have really fought tooth and nail on in front of each other or side by side in literally every race. I don't think we've ever had team orders with them. So I really can't wait to see what Lewis and Charles are going to do. So let's see.
Mihir, what are your thoughts, bro? Like, again, I know you don't follow Ferrari much, but from outside, when you're seeing like a team principal ending up saying something like this, what do you feel though?
There's a lot of things that happen, and Ferrari's always been on the aggressive side of, well, not really aggressive, but they're really, you know what? Let me step back a bit. Ferrari has gradually understood that changing a few drivers and a few departments in the team may result in Ferrari winning championships, which they did. The team principal, the
Mhm.
drivers.
Yeah.
Taking Lewis on board, I think. Look, honestly, I don't think it was the right decision. Obviously, Lewis is an amazing driver, right?
Hmm.
And but there's a different style of driving that Ferrari expects drivers to do. So clearly,
Hmm.
it's very different, and they need to understand that. But again, it's a leap of faith. Lewis might do better than what he did in Mercedes. Again, I have nothing to say more on this in detail because obviously I don't follow Ferrari as much as Nathan Churchboy does. But uh, no, but honestly, I think this should be next season should be very exciting. I'm very very excited. I'm not used to seeing Lewis in a red uniform. It's going to be very exciting for sure.
All right, and we are taking the final topic of discussion, which is our favorite livery for 2024. Again, this year we have seen some spectacular race car liveries come up from McLaren, from Haas, from Williams, from uh, Red Bull, from Mercedes. Like pretty much all teams have made their mark, I think, except for Aston Martin
Hmm.
and second half of Red Bull. They deciding to ditch all their livery plans because of weight. pretty much all other teams have worked out some other either livery for their cars, like special liveries. So, which, according to you, was your favorite? Let's start off with here.
I think my favorite livery, and you guys are gonna kill me, it's gonna be McLaren.
Which one? Which one of McLaren's?
I think all of them, even the ones that are different. I think the one in Monte Carlo,
That was a
those ones
Senna
were,
inspired livery.
yeah, that was so cool. And obviously, I feel like McLaren always is very on the go with their liveries. It's very, very different.
Hmm.
I love it. I generally love it. I think Ferrari, Ferrari did change one as well, but it was a red. It was a maroon. It wasn't red. I think that's one change they did. I remember.
I know Ferrari has changed a lot of uniforms, but I haven't seen the physical change on the car.
Right.
The
Yeah.
only I feel like the only change I've seen in Ferrari is when they announced HP as a title sponsor, and the
Yeah. That was
amount of
huge.
HP
Yeah,
logos on the car
yeah.
It
was
was
just
huge.
insane.
That ruined the car, honestly. When I came into the season, yeah, McLaren was up there, obviously as the best livery, right?
Mhm.
But Ferrari was really close as well with just the plain red, white, and black. I mean, it was
Exactly.
perfect, and the hint of yellow as well. So when the HP logo came on, the blue just I'm sorry, but the blue just doesn't really match well with that red. I mean, it's really clashing. But honestly speaking, I mean, McLaren have just been superb, with the chrome, with the Senna livery, with just everything. I mean, they have really, you know, hit that one out of the park. But I want to mention another livery that really stood out for me. Another team that really, tried to experiment with liveries was Alpine. Because if you remember Spa,
Absolutely.
if you remember Spa, they came out with the Wolverine and Deadpool special livery, which was
Mhm.
actually pretty cool. Which was actually
And
not
even
bad, but
what do you call? They had in US in Austin the Indiana Jones livery.
yeah, which looked like a McLaren, which is funny.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like both those teams did a pretty decent job in terms of liveries.
For me personally, what I liked is for McLaren the chrome livery.
Yeah.
Again, amazing. I thought, like, again with the McLaren MP4 style livery, I kind of had bit more expectations. I was like, okay, well, let's just go on to that. What do you call that? Not orange, but not red sort of livery. You know,
Yeah.
I thought that would be the case, but that wasn't the case for Singapore. But I even like Haas. All the America races which Haas has went for, they have produced a special livery though.
Yeah, but I can't remember any, which is weird. It really not caught my eye.
Because
I don't
for
know.
Las Vegas they had a special livery, for
Yeah, I
Austin
think I
they had a
remember that.
special livery,
Yeah.
and for Miami they had a special livery.
Yeah, I don't remember the Miami one. Well,
Again,
but they probably
Austin one
must
you
have
can
had.
see on our Formula Pod Instagram. It's right over there. For others, I don't know where to tell you to find. But personally, I feel teams have did their fair share. In fact, I would even say when Williams brought in the element of yellow to their cars, that
Yeah.
actually stood out to me.
The Franco Colapinto sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I forgot, like it's that Latin American clothing brand. I forgot its name. It's some Metro something something.
Was it clothing or was it a bank? I think it was a bank, wasn't it?
No, I thought it
No,
was
no, it was clothing. It was clothing.
It's
it's a
clothing?
clothing. I don't
It was
exactly
clothing. I
remember
don't remember either.
what was the exact name. I have to just like
Oh,
oh.
Arjun's really excited, huh? Arjun seems extremely excited.
I actually just went to check my Franco Colapinto signed merch. But then in that one, it's just that it's not there, surprisingly, which is a bit of a surprise. So yeah, that is it's Mercado Libre. It's a Latin clothing line called Mercado Libre. So that the hint of that yellow coming in actually changed the entire car, because the Williams we know for the past 2 3 years is just different shades of blue. Versus when we have this particular yellow coming into the picture, it feels a lot different. So this is
Oh,
what
it's
I
it's
personally feel would be some of my favorite liveries for the season.
it's an e-commerce platform. It's
Oh,
like an
okay.
Amazon. It's like an eBay, Mercado Libre.
Okay. Thanks for
Interesting.
the fact checking. Like much
Yeah.
appreciated. I'm definitely not going to use it. unless it manages to make its way here. But yeah, on that terrible disappointment, thank you so much for tuning on to another episode of Formula Pod. And thank you for all the support we have got this year. Again, I know this year has been a bit of a challenging year for all of us in on the team because a lot of triple headers, which means a lot of recordings back to back. And trust me, like I assume nearly every person from the team has at least managed to produce one piece of content. If it's just editing the episode, or even if it's putting out something on Instagram, like yeah, literally big gratitude to the entire team as well as to all you fans who have supported us to making this a successful second year of Formula Pod. So, and it's 2025 will be the third year, and third year meaning a lot more interesting, fun, and thrilling excitement coming your way. And we all of us can't wait to get started February next year, February post February 10th, which is when we get to see all the liveries. Then we will have like our very first episode coming out, which will be talking about liveries. Until then, for a brief time, it is goodbye and good night from all of us here from Formula Pod. But yeah, before we kind of wrap it all off, anything Nathan, Mihir, you guys want to add?
Yeah, well, there's a few updates that are gonna happen next year, and I hope you guys are excited for it. And stay tuned. It's gonna be major changes now, and Formula Pod is. I manifest Formula Pod to get really big in the next 6 months. So stay tuned. It's gonna get very exclusive now. We're gonna take a lot of changes, a lot of charges. So stay tuned.
I can't wait for next season. I really can't. And to join you guys, to join this team this year, it's been brilliant. It's been great. So I can't wait for next year. And all I can say is watch our space, follow us, and you'll get to see what we have in store for you guys.
And yeah, until next time, this is the entire crew from Formula Pod signing off. And once again, thank you so much. Happy New Year's, happy holidays, and yeah, enjoy the fireworks. Goodbye.